the notoriously difficult lick in Django Reinhardt's minor string solo. Well, everyone knows that when you play the minor string solo, that at the end there's that really fast and difficult lick that you will have to play. I know that when I play it, I really dread the moment this lick comes up, because it's really difficult to master, and it's really difficult to play it right consistently, right? That's what we want. When we want to learn a solo, we want to play it consistently right. We don't want to fear parts in a solo. We want everything to be on the same level and practice towards that goal, right? And when learning this solo, or this specific part, I found a way to cheat it a bit and make it more easy to play. And I've divided this solo in 2 parts, which is very important. You will see why. And I will go over the fingerings and how the right hand and everything you will need to know to properly execute this part in the solo, right? So let's get over that. So let's go over it, I mean. So it starts, this is the first part, and Django starts with just a simple chromatic run on the E string, but it's important that you have the right hand right, because that will determine your speed. And also, well, okay, let's go over it. So it starts with a downstroke on the 3rd fret of the E string, so a G note, then an upstroke on F sharp, then a downstroke again on 1st fret E string, and then open string E. Then we do another chromatic run. You know, it's a chromatic lick, of course, but then we do another chromatic run here. Downstroke on the 4th fret of the B, upstroke on the 3rd fret of the B. And that's what I do special here, because what I've done is I don't play this individually. I don't do that. I just play. So I play downstroke, upstroke, rest stroke, slide, upstroke. That's what I do. I think I've covered it well. I've explained it properly, right? So downstroke, upstroke, and it's a rest stroke. If you don't know what rest strokes are, you should really learn Gypsy Jazz technique. Otherwise, I'm just gonna say it flat out, this solo will be impossible to play. You will need to learn Gypsy Jazz technique, you will need to learn the proper right hand technique, rest strokes and sweeps, all of that. Learn that first before you attempt to learn a solo. Anyway, so rest stroke, slides, upstroke. And then I play downstroke on the 3rd fret of the G, upstroke on the 2nd fret, downstroke on the 1st fret, upstroke to an open G. And then we go to this 4th fret of the D string, downstroke, upstroke, and then a rest stroke slide to 1st, and then an open D with an upstroke. And it's actually the same as the B string, well, the right hand, so it's... Well, no, that's not what I do. It's that's exactly what you don't want to do. You don't want to play the open D string there with an upstroke. That's my whole system. Why did I do that? But that's the whole thing. That's the whole first part, right? And then don't play the open D with an upstroke. So that's the first part. The first part ends on that 1st fret of a... I'm just checking if I'm recording, because sometimes it stops recording for some reason. It ends on this 1st fret of the D string, right? And then my system kicks in. But first I will go over the notes, and then I will explain how I cheat this lick and how I'm able to play it good each time, so consistently, right? So we're here. The natural thing to do is to play an upstroke, to play that open D string, right? To play the D note. But you want to do a double down. Well, not a double down. You just want to play a downstroke on the open D, and then you play upstroke on the first fret. This is the second part. I've already mentioned that, but just so you know. So open D, first fret D, second fret D, and then so that's the first line. Why do I and then you will see why I begin with a downstroke on that D string, because then we can do a sweep pick to the G string. So because we do a mini slide right there. A mini sweep, I mean. I'm making a lot of mistakes today, but we do a mini sweep there. Because I'm playing, you always play rest strokes in Gypsy Jazz, so your plectrum is already resting on the G string, and then you play first fret G string, and then you play you've already sweep to it, and then an upstroke to the fourth fret of the G string, and then I'm gonna explain afterwards, but the classical way to teach this, so you have that upstroke on that fourth fret of the G string, is to play a mini sweep again, starting from a downstroke on the fourth fret of the B string, then first fret on the E string, finishing off with an upstroke on the fourth fret of the E string. So you have like that. And now I'm gonna teach you how I cheat the second part of the lick, the ascending part. So I've talked about that most people will teach you that you play this D, this D note, the third fret of on the B string, right? So you finish the lick off right there. And I'm gonna tell you, you just don't play that D. We're going to skip the D. And we're going to skip the D note, right? This is really important because for some reason this allows you, when you skip that note, to play it really fast consistently for some reason. That's what I find, because I've drilled this lick so many times. So when you play it, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to play it really fast one time. And you can notice, I don't play this D note. And you will probably hear it from, oh yeah, I don't play a D note, I hear it. But in the middle of a gig, no one hears that. No one hears that you don't play the D note. And it will sound just fine, because the most important notes that you need to hit is this F note and this Sol kruis note. G sharp. We're not talking Dutch now. It's G sharp. And I'm going to play it really slowly, so when you start the second part, this is what you will play. That's what I do. So I'm kind of muting that B string here, and I'm just skipping over it, so... So, I just play this lick very, very easy, and then I just... After I've played this, I just fret the first fret of the E string. So I play the F string. I just ignore this, and by doing that, I'm also muting the B string right here. But I still perform the mini sweep that you will need to do, but you won't hear that D note. You just hear that, and that's when you slow down the faster parts that I played a minute earlier. You will hear that. So that's what I play. Skip the D notes, perform the mini sweep, go down, and play the upstroke. That's what I do. So that's covering the second part. And I know all these people will say, oh, you skipped the D note, right? It's not really how Django played it. Well, I don't really believe that because, you know, many people they play. Nee. They play with their 4 fingers, and I don't really understand why. Because, well, first of all, this tune is really fast when Django plays it, probably when jamming. He played it around 220 beats per minute or something like that. Well, and that's really fast, and well, when you have to play that lick right, or when everyone is waiting for you to play that lick right, you want something easy. And Django had only 2 fingers. So, well, what did Django do often? Well, he would slide into notes right. He wouldn't have the opportunity to play with 4 fingers, so he will slide a lot. So sliding is good in gypsy jazz because, well, we all listen to Django Reinhardt, and Django Reinhardt only slides because he was handicapped and he only had 2 fingers to play soloing lines with, right? So, but I have all my fingers, so I'm going to take advantage of that and start with my 3rd finger and then slide as much as possible. Because it's way easier to play it like that when the pace is really high, when the tempo is really high. And then again this. I'm just skipping that D note, which is important and will help you out. And that is how I play the really difficult line in Django Reinhardt's minor swing solo at the end. The notorious difficult to master lick. 2 things to keep in mind. Slides and learn exactly how I told you with the slides and the proper the proper picking pattern, the down ups, all that what I explained, and skip that D note, and we will notice that it will be much easier to play this lick in the future. Okay, that was all. Thank you for watching, and cheers, goodbye.